I'm John Lee, and I'm here in front of the Cullis Wade Demo Art Gallery to show you one of the most unique art exhibitions that Mississippi State has ever seen.
Some minority students struggle with access to mental health care. I'm Rachel Jordan with why they struggle and what MSU can do to close the access gap.
It's everywhere. The flu is here. Hello, I'm Bronson Woodruff.
And I'm Rachel Jordan. Several schools throughout North Mississippi are closed because of the flu outbreak. The Mississippi Department of Health reports widespread flu activity for the state and an increase in flu-like symptoms in people from last year. Some Mississippi State students are feeling the effects.
When school starts back, a lot of people get sick. My roommates have been in and out of the health center a little bit, and a few friends on campus that I know. I think that students themselves should kind of keep an eye out for the flu and viruses going around.
Another health concern on campuses across the country is the coronavirus. Could students who traveled overseas during the holidays be at risk of catching it? There have been cases on college campuses across the U.S. that show signs of the virus. Administrator of Arizona State University says some of their students have tested positive. Texas A&M and Tennessee Tech have both tested students for the virus, and all results came back negative. At Mississippi State, some students who've traveled abroad say they're worried.
I got back here and then I found out that there was a coronavirus, so I was a little bit scared just being on a plane. Like, things can really travel quite easily through a plane, so it was a bit scary finding out when I came back that there was a virus.
So far, there have been no cases of the coronavirus at Mississippi State. Your mental health can be just as important as your physical health, but a new study shows that only 48% of students of color feel comfortable reaching out to a teacher or counselor for mental health support.
And that's compared to 57% of white students in the U.S. Take 30 explored why some students aren't getting the help they need and what MSU can do about it.
More students are seeking mental health services on campus, according to a 2019 report from the Associated Press. Unfortunately, for some minority students at Mississippi State University, they feel like they are locked out to places like the Counseling Center and other places for resources to access mental health care. Hannah Johnson is a senior communication major at MSU. She is a member of the Pi Beta Phi sorority and works on campus at the Digital Media Center in the Mitchell Memorial Library. Johnson struggles with anxiety, as many students do.
So when I reached out to the Counseling Center at Mississippi State, I looked for a young African-American female that I could relate to and help me with the issues that I was struggling with. And I couldn't really find someone that I think could offer me the best help that I needed.
Johnson's anxiety stemmed from her minority identity at a predominantly white university. Johnson is not the only person who finds comfort and support from someone who is similar to herself. Katie Kaufman currently works as a community director on campus for Griffiths Hall and holds a master's in mental health counseling from MSU.
I know for myself, being a person who has sought counseling in the past, I did a lot better in counseling when I worked with someone who was more similar to myself, and that's just human nature.
Kaufman worked as a counselor during her graduate studies. She said research has shown it's best for patients to work with someone who shares a similar look, background, and values as themselves. So what can MSU do to close the access gap?
Focusing on making sure that our current counseling staff reflects and represents the statistics that we have at the university.
Reaching out to minorities and knowing that they are cared about on campus and that there is help for them. And that starts with creating a diverse staff that can help them.
The Counseling Center does have a diversity and inclusion statement listed on their website. Rachel Jordan, Take 30 News.
There is only one person of color out of the 6 staff counselors listed on the MSU Student Counseling Center's website. The center released a statement saying, in part, Mississippi State Student Counseling Services has a strong commitment to diversity and inclusion. We strive to hire a diverse staff while at the same time hiring qualified clinicians that put the interest of the students first. To see the rest of the Counseling Center's official statement, check out www.bulldognews.msstate.edu.
2 sisters were killed in a targeted shooting this week on the campus of Texas A&M Commerce. According to ABC News, it happened at a freshman dorm. Deja Matz, age 19, and her sister Ebony were found inside one of the dorm rooms. The 2-year-old child of one of the women was also injured. He has been treated and released to family members. Investigators are not releasing the name of a suspect, but they do believe the women were the intended victims. The Commerce campus is home to about 6,000 undergrads. If you have a student loan, you are not alone. It's estimated student loan debt now tops more than $1.5 trillion. On average, college students who graduated in 2018 owe more than $29,000 in loans. Business experts advise students to make a budget and try to pay down the high-interest loans first. Your inbox will look different later this month. Bully mail will be no more. Mississippi State is changing email systems, moving to Microsoft Office 365.
Take 30 News reporter Teresa Richardson explains why the switch is being made.
When MSU students and staff log into their email later this month, it will look a little different. Mississippi State is switching over from Bully Mail to Outlook and likes to make it better for teachers and students accessing their emails and being organized.
The next, perhaps logical step is to get the students and the employees in the same environment. Has a couple of advantages from our perspective. The first being Microsoft has come out with Teams, and that allows the students and the employees to do collaboration.
The vote to switch the email systems over on February the 26th was led and pushed forward by the Student Association after hearing logical reasoning by the IT department on why it's beneficial.
ITS and administration approached us about the possibility of switching over to Outlook, but they were very upfront from the very beginning that if it wasn't something that we wanted and that we supported, they wouldn't make the switch. So then we started asking, well, what would that mean? And what are the benefits, what are the cons? So to start, the pros, everybody will be in the global access list, which means, rather than having to type Jake Manning in the directory, look up my NetID, you'll simply be able to type Jake Manning and it'll pull up my account and you can just send emails to people.
Although there is much upside to this switch, students are not happy about their emails changing as the date is rapidly approaching.
I don't really like the switch from Google to Outlook because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know a lot of departments, a lot of people on campus use like the Google Docs, the Google Slides. A lot of my extracurricular programs, my job, all of our files that we use for these things are through Google Docs, Google Slides, just the whole Google Drive. So if we're switching from Google to Outlook, we won't have access to valuable information.
With this switch, students and professors will be able to work together using the Microsoft apps such as Teams, and also the Outlook calendar, which will allow students to see if their professors are available or easily schedule office hours. I'm Teresa Richardson with Take 30 News.
Art and beauty may be in the eye of the beholder, but a new exhibit shared light through pain after the break. But first, learning more about your community and campus just got a lot easier. Here's a look at some changes made to the Reflector's website.
Hello, my name is Brandon Grisham and I'm the online editor here at The Reflector. We've made a few updates to our website and we'd like to share them with you. If you visit the website for The Reflector, you will see numerous layout changes and exciting new features. The largest addition is the Publication Archive. The archive features every printed issue of The Reflector going back to 2011. By clicking on the plaque with the corresponding year, you can take a look at the reported history of Mississippi State University. Each year is separated by fall and spring semesters, as these were the publication ranges. Another addition is the History tab, which includes various pages that document the history of The Reflector. Our paper began in 1884, and as the oldest paper in the SEC, we have an interesting and eclectic history. A fun example is the history of our website logos. Feel free to view more of the changes to the Reflector's website at reflector-online.com. Thank you for watching.
This is the best thing going at Mississippi State right now.
We are doing so many different things that we learned in the classroom that we are now getting to apply that I didn't even think that we would get to apply.
It's really invaluable. People that you meet, the connections that you're gonna make are priceless as well.
Prism is gonna prepare you for the future.
You're getting something that most college students don't get in this major.
Just go for it. Like, there's really nothing to lose. You can only go up.
The real world experience is here while also getting the college credit.
There's so many different aspects to it outside of public relations.
We can use anybody's interest and anybody's expertise to really kind of go into public relations, because public relations is really all-inclusive.
Don't let the name hold you back from applying, because we do need more people other than public relations.
Today is February 5th, and here's a look at what's trending this week. After months on the campaign trail and millions of dollars in political advertising, there is still no clear winner of the Iowa caucus. The latest results show Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders in a tight race. With more than 70% of precincts reporting Buttigieg seems to be on track to win the state with nearly 27% of the state's delegates. It's a mess that began Monday evening when technology apparently failed and the Iowa Democratic Party decided to count votes the old-fashioned way, by hand. The candidates have moved on to New Hampshire, where the next primary will take place later this month. In a Congress divided, the president delivered his State of the Union speech. He did not mention the impeachment vote. Senators are expected to vote on the acquittal today. The party split seemed obvious, with most Republicans cheering and clapping for the president. Some Democrats chose not to attend. President Trump spoke of his accomplishments in office and looked to the future. In an unprecedented moment, the president also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh during a speech. Rush Limbaugh has been broadcasting his conservative radio talk show for 30 years and has been a staunch supporter of the president. Earlier this week, he told his listeners that he has been diagnosed with advanced lung cancer. He says he will take a few days away from his show for tests and treatment. Shannen Doherty has been down this road before. She too has a stage 4 diagnosis. For Doherty, this is a recurrence of breast cancer. The actress from Charmed and Beverly Hills 90210 was first diagnosed in 2015. Her disease has been in remission. The boys are back in town with some fancy hardware. The Kansas City football team landed at home earlier this week, bringing with them the Lombardi Trophy. It has been 5 decades since the team won a Super Bowl. Back then, the game wasn't even known as the Super Bowl. It was known as the last AFL-NFL World Championship game. More on that in Take 30 Sports. But Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes didn't make the return trip. Instead, he had a stop over at Disney World in Orlando. It's a tradition now for the Super Bowl MVP to take a trip to the Magic Kingdom. Mahomes stood on a float with Mickey Mouse in a parade to celebrate the win. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Take 30 after the break.
Prism is a full-service media marketing agency that students are the ones that do these communication projects for off-site clients.
What excited me about it was that it gave me that real-life PR firm experience.
I really wanted that real-world experience. I wanted to be able to feel like I was working in an environment that was actually like making a difference.
We're not just turning in an assignment, you get a grade and you're done. We have to turn it in, but we also have to see it through to make sure that it's doing how we have expected it to do, to make sure that it's a well representation of our clients.
I can write things down on paper all day, but it's very different when you're actually getting out there and like making those moves.
We get to see our products come to life in a different aspect and seeing them go out into the real world.
This is kind of mirrors that in a way, whereas like students, oh my gosh, students are literally working for clients and they're posting on this person's social media like it's like an internship, but at the same time it's like this is how it is in the real world.
I love that moment where the things you've been learning in the classroom for the last like 2, 3, 4 years as a student in PR, the moment where it clicks and the moment where you're like, oh, that's why we do that, that's why we learn that, or that's why this makes sense, or that's why this is important, and getting to kind of see that moment or experience that moment for myself where I'm like, okay, that's why this, 20-page research paper I wrote last semester actually matters, and this is how I'm using it.
The most rewarding part about working with a real-world client has to be just making connections. And you get to know people, you get to know, high up people.
Every single day is 100% different than the next day, which makes it really fun and dynamic, and it's a really culture of agency lifestyle in itself. You never do the same thing every single day in an agency lifestyle, so we wanted to make sure Prism had that.
If you want to be the person that stands out, on a resume or a job interview or anything like that, when they see Prism, that's what's going to make you stand out.
You only have this month to see a brand new art exhibit at Mississippi State. It is unlike any show ever seen at MSU.
Take 30's John Lee has more on this unique art show and how it's spreading hope.
Art of Hope exhibition opened up in the Cullis Wade Depot Art Gallery on January 21st and will remain open until February 28th. It's a very broad concept compared to previous exhibitions, as the work of art featured here are meant to invoke feelings of, as the name of the exhibition implies, hope, along with the feelings of inspiration and motivation to deal with personal struggles such as racism and gender bias.
We're standing in front of a piece right now that's titled Gnarl One. It's by an artist named Sam Dorgan. She describes that this piece responds to the loss of her mother. And I relate to this piece a lot because I did lose my mother actually to breast cancer. So it was a great way for me to see how a work of art affects me personally.
This exhibition features works from talented artists from all over the country, and they were selected by professional jurors who picked the pieces that were the best of the best and really nailed down the feeling of hope that can be seen just by observing the art.
This was an exhibition where we were trying to see how art intersects with culture and cultural concerns right now in a broad spectrum. You can't say which artwork in there is the best because you have ceramics and you have film and you have performance and you have drawing and you have painting and you have all these different art forms in there. I think what people are going to remember the most after they see this exhibition is that they're not alone.
The Art of Hope isn't just an exhibition. It stands as a symbol of inspiration for those going through personal struggles such as racism, gender bias, and more. Observers who come through and look at these pieces of art will leave knowing that they're not alone in this world, and others struggle just as much as they do.
I think there's a piece for every situation. I don't think there's one particular piece. I think every person's story is different. And so, you know, hopefully whatever their background or whatever their story is, they walk away with something, you know, they can be hopeful for the future in their lives.
John Lee, Take 30 News.
For more information about the gallery and exhibition, you can email Lori Neuenfeld at msuartgalleries@msstate.edu. Regardless of who wins the Super Bowl each year, it's usually a win for local businesses selling certain types of food.
Super Bowl Sunday is one of the busiest days for most pizza chains in America. Take 30's Kelsey Duncan is live at a local restaurant with how much they cashed in on the big game. Kelsey?
That's right, guys. I'm inside of Lost Pizza Company here in Starkville. As you can see, the business is not that busy right now because lunch is over, but this past weekend, business was booming. The manager said he saw a significant increase in sales.
My friends and I, we come here every Tuesday for trivia, and we've been lucky enough to win several times, and so we have a lot of Lost Pizza gift cards, and so we want to have a Super Bowl party, and so we thought to cash in our trivia winnings with Lost Pizza.
Super Bowl Sunday calls for a lot of food. Amongst other special events, the Super Bowl is a busy day for most pizza chains.
Super Bowl Sunday should be about the same as any other Super Bowl Sunday. The weather's a little bit nicer, so it might be a little bit busier today.
Pizza is the second most consumed food behind wings on the day of the game.
Saturday and Sunday, they all run about the same dollar-wise.
They received more call-in orders than people in-house on the day of Super Bowl 54. Lost Pizza Company receives more individuals ordering pizza during lunch the day of the game than at night.
They experienced 25% more in sales than any other day.
Until about 5:30, all employees will be working today, and then after 5:30, it'll slow down a lot, and we'll send people home.
According to the American Pizza Community, an estimated 12.5 million pizzas will be ordered on Super Bowl Sunday.
Just Lost Pizza Day. It's the most consistent Starkville. It's my favorite.
It's a fun environment that we're in. Very laid back, and it's just, we enjoy Starkville.
According to the National Retail Federation, those who watch Super Bowl 54 expected to spend an average of $88 on food, drinks, and party supplies, for a total of $17.2 billion nationwide. Live in Starkville, Kelsey Duncan, Take 30 News.
Thank you, Kelsey. The big game was broadcast over millions of televisions last Sunday. Local sports bars were excited and prepared for the rush of this past weekend. As Super Bowl Sunday hit, so did the prospect of more business. Bella Williams is a server at Stagger Inn, and she was expecting a lot of people to join the fun at their favorite sports bars.
We always have food prepped. Even on game days, we'll come in even 30 minutes earlier. So we got the restaurants like perfectly cleaned, everything's stocked up.
It is just so crazy how much of a Super Bowl party revolves around food. Take 30's Will Huff has more on sports and the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Rachel. From the Super Bowl to a half-court shot controversy, Take 30 Sports is up next. I'm Cash Matlock from the Wednesday crew in the fall of 2018.
Learning, growing, becoming. Take 30 News at MSU.
My name is Donovan Andrade. I graduated from a high school in the Middle East. I wanted to find the college that best suits home for me, and I found it here. Out of all of the universities, Mississippi State tops them all. MSU's theater program is unique to me because it's challenging, it's energetic, and it can also make you very open-minded to the world. Theater has its own community where you're never really alone. Everyone around you is family, and it felt like home.
You hear about it most every week in the fall. Some player, somewhere, is fighting for his life after a head injury. Those are the days when the game stops being a game. So I started thinking about armors in nature. For example, rams are protected when they collide. Could that guiding principle be applied to football helmets? We're replicating this process with the hopes of reducing concussions. We're taking strides to save lives. Why do we do this? For the praise? To be esteemed as research pioneers? No, not at all. This is for them, the kids, and making sure the game keeps being a game.
Red and yellow confetti rained down in Miami on Sunday as Kansas City took home the Lombardi Trophy after defeating the San Francisco 49ers 31-21 in Super Bowl 54. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes was named the MVP. Mahomes led the team's offense with 286 yards of offense and two touchdowns. In addition, Kansas City coach Andy Reid finally captured a Super Bowl after 21 seasons as an NFL coach. But Coach Reid wasn't the only one dealing with a championship drought. This was the team's first Super Bowl win in 50 years. Mississippi State was also represented in the Super Bowl. Former Dogs Chris Jones and Martinez Rankin both came away from the game with a championship ring on their finger. The Mississippi State women's basketball team took the court Monday night against Georgia. MSU won the game 67-53, pushing their record to 20-3 on the season and 8-1 in SEC play. Forward Rakia Jackson led the way with 24 points. The Lady Dogs are now the number 8 team in the country. Also on Monday night during the break in action, student Alex Howell received a $5,000 check for sinking a half-court shot at the previous game on Thursday. Controversy surrounded the shot as Howell's foot was just a few inches over the line. But despite this, Cannon Motors, the sponsor of the half-court shot promotion, did pay Howell. A new head coach and now a new quarterback. Former Stanford quarterback KJ Costello said Monday that he will be playing this coming season with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Costello is a graduate transfer, and this will be his final year in college football. Costello and Coach Mike Leach are familiar with each other since they were opponents in the Pac-12. However, Costello is not the definite starter. He will have to compete with Garrett Schrader for the starting quarterback role. This just in, we are now learning that due to a tornado watch, tonight's Cowbell Yell has been postponed. The event has been moved to Tuesday, February 11th at 6 o'clock. That's it for sports, but be sure to stick around. Take 30 News has more when we come back.
Everyone remembers their favorite teddy bear, the reassuring love of their first puppy. They comforted us and made us laugh. For children battling abusive situations or post-traumatic stress disorder, the memories aren't as pleasant. That's why at Mississippi State University, we're pioneering a robotic technology that brings healing to those exposed to traumatic situations. Known as Therabot, MSU's robotic beagle includes lifelike features that allow it to move in ways that are both natural and nurturing. Its ultimate goal? To bridge the gap between two types of effective therapy, using real animals and their plush counterparts for emotional assistance. At MSU, we're proud to be changing the game in therapeutic recovery, even prouder to be putting lives back together again.
Have you ever thought about becoming a teacher, but the challenges of life or travel restrictions keep holding you back? Mississippi State can get you there. With our convenient online courses, you can earn a degree in elementary education while learning from MSU professors on a schedule that works for you. And the best part? Graduates enjoy high job placement across the state. So why wait? Take the first step toward a better, more fulfilling career, no matter where you are.
This just in, there was a loud boom heard in downtown Starkville. Mayor Lynn Sprill said that it was a copper wire that broke and power is out on Lindbergh Boulevard and surrounding streets. That is all the time that we have for tonight, but we thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow Take 30 News MSU on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure and catch our newscast. We're going on again tomorrow night, and we'll be live this coming Wednesday.
Thank you.
Good night.